These are the departures of the children of Israel who went out of the land of Mitzrayim by their divisions under the hand of Moshe and Aaron. And Moshe wrote down the starting points of their departures at the command of Yahweh. And these are their departures according to their starting points. So they departed from Ramesses in the first month, on the 15th day of the first month, on the morrow of the Pesach. The children of Israel went out with a high hand before the eyes of all the Mitzrites. And the Mitzrites were bearing all their firstborn, whom Yahweh had smitten among them. Also, their mighty ones Yahweh had executed judgments. Then the children of Israel departed from Ramesses and camped at Succoth. And they departed from Succoth and camped at Etham, which is on the edge of the wilderness. And they departed from Etham and turned back to Pi-hahiroth, which is before Baal-zephon, and they camped near Migdal. And they departed from before Hahiroth and passed over through the midst of the sea into the wilderness, went 3 days' journey in the wilderness of Etham, and camped at Marah. And they departed from Marah and came to Elam. And at Elam there were 12 springs of water and 70 palm trees. So they camped there. And they departed from Elam and camped by the Sea of Reeds. And they departed from the Sea of Reeds and camped in the wilderness of Sin. And they departed from the wilderness of Sin and camped at Dophkah. And they departed from Dophkah and camped at Alush. And they departed from Alush and camped at Rephidim. And there was no water for the people to drink. And they departed from Rephidim and camped in the wilderness of Sinai. And they departed from the wilderness of Sinai and camped at Kibroth Hatta'awa. And they departed from Kibroth Hatta'awa and camped at Hasaroth. And they departed from Hasaroth and camped at Rithmah. And they departed from Rithmah and camped at Ramon Peretz. And they departed from Ramon Peretz and camped at Libnah. And they departed from Libnah and camped at Rissa. And they departed from Rissa and camped at Kehelatha. And they departed from Kehelatha and camped at Mount Shafar. And they departed from Mount Shafar and camped at Harada. And they departed from Harada and camped at Machpelah. And they departed from Machpelah and camped at Tahath. And they departed from Tahath and camped at Terah. And they departed from Terah and camped at Mithkah. And they departed from Mithkah and camped at Hashmonah. And they departed from Hashmonah and camped at Moseroth. And they departed from Moseroth and camped at Bnei Yaakan. And they departed from Bnei Yaakan and camped at Hor-ha-Gidgad. And they departed from Hor-ha-Gidgad and camped at Yotbathah. And they departed from Yotbathah and camped at Abrona. And they departed from Abrona and camped at Etzon-Geber. And they departed from Etzon-Geber and camped in the wilderness of Zin, which is Kadesh. And they departed from Kadesh and camped at Mount Hor, on the boundary of the land of Edom. Then Aaron the Cohen went up to Mount Hor at the command of Yahweh, and died there in the 40th year of the children of Israel had come out of the land of Mitzrayim, on the first day of the 5th month. Now Aaron was 123 years old when he died on Mount Hor. And the sovereign of Arad, the Canaanite, who dwelt in the Negev, in the land of Canaan, heard of the coming of the children of Israel. So they departed from Mount Hor and camped at Zalmonah. And they departed from Zalmonah and camped at Punan. And they departed from Punan and camped at Oboth. And they departed from Oboth and camped at Ai-ha-abarim, at the border of Moab. And they departed from Iam and camped at Dibon-Gad. And they departed from Dibon-Gad and camped at Ammon, Diblath-Ayimah. And they departed from Ammon, Diblath-Ayimah, and camped in the mountains of Abiram before Nebo. And they departed from the mountains of Abiram and camped in the desert plains of Moab by the Jordan of Jericho. And they camped by the Jordan from Beth-Yeshimoth as far as Abel-Hashatim in the desert plains of Moab. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe in the desert plains of Moab by the Jordan of Jericho, saying, Speak to the children of Israel and say to them, When you have passed over the Jordan into the land of Canaan, Then you shall drive out all the inhabitants of the land from before you, and shall destroy all their engraved stones, and shall destroy all their molten images, and lay waste all their high places. And you shall possess the land and dwell in it, for I have given you the land to possess. And you shall divide the land by lot as an inheritance among your clans. To the larger you give a larger inheritance, and to the smaller you give a smaller inheritance. Wherever the lot falls to anyone, that is his. You inherit according to the tribes of your fathers. And if you do not drive out the inhabitants of the land from before you, then it shall be that those whom you let remain shall be pricks in your eyes and thorns in your sides, and they shall trouble you in the land where you dwell. And it shall be that I do to you as I thought to do to them.